there, I'm X King. Welcome back to another episode where I review films currently in theaters. Today I am talking about The Machine. The Machine was directed by Peter Intencio and follows Bert Kessler, played by Bert Kessler. Bert Kessler's a real-life comedian who told this story about how he got involved with the Russian mafia when he was overseas in Russia for a semester in college, and how he robbed a train with them. He told this story on stage. It became a very viral video, and this film kind of ties into that story. You see, years after he became famous, he started to spiral out of control. At least in the movie he does. I don't know how similar this is to his real life scenario, but in the movie his life started to spiral out of control, and an incident even happened where he got arrested because his daughter was driving him because he was drunk. And because of that, him and his daughter have this really weird, strained relationship. It's very similar to his own strained relationship with his father, played by Mark Hamill in the film. And during his daughter's Sweet 16, he ends up being approached by this woman named Irina, who's the daughter of a Russian gangster that Bert robbed on that train robbery all those years ago, and she wants something that he stole. And Bert doesn't remember, so she ends up kidnapping him and his father and taking them to Russia so they can find the watch. So this story is actually kind of all over the place. It's bonkers. It's absolutely insane. We have this average guy who got famous because he was a comedian, and he doesn't have any background with physical martial arts or any type of fighting skills, and he's forced into this situation where he has to navigate being amongst real life gangsters and the shootouts that they get involved in and the chaos. He has to struggle with the fact that he has no skill and no place being in this world, and I really like that dynamic. It leads to some funny scenarios, and also leads to some wonderful action bits. I got a lot of chuckles out of this film. I didn't go fully belly laugh. I think I was on the edge, but it just never fully got there. Now, I do have a few problems. One, the film relies heavily on the strained relationship between Bert and his father, and I don't know if it's just the writing or the performance, but I'll be honest, it just didn't come across all that well. I didn't believe that these two were father and son, and I didn't really understand their dynamic. So I couldn't get invested in that relationship. Also, towards the end of the movie, we have a action scene. I'm not going to try to spoil it, but it relies on Bert all of a sudden being very good at fighting, and it just doesn't fit with the dynamic of the rest of the movie. And it kind of made me feel that part of the movie didn't really feel like I was in the same film almost. It really felt out of place. Then we have the characters, and Bert is a really good character because obviously he's based off a real person being played by the real person he's based off, a very exaggerated form of that person, but it definitely works to the film's advantage. That way the character feels real. Irina's actually a character that I really wish the film focused on more. She starts off as your stereotypical Russian badass, and you quickly start to understand where she's coming from, her dynamics within her family, and kind of what she wants to do by finding her place in this world, and kind of some more to her backstory that you wouldn't expect from a character like this. The only character I feel kind of didn't work is Bert's father. We don't really know a ton about this guy, and when we learn about this guy, makes me confused because he's supposed to look down on Bert despite the fact that Bert's, rich and famous. So, kind of hard to look down on someone who, lives in a mansion. But I kind of see where they were going with it. It just didn't work for me. Especially since he just didn't do anything or did anything to really help the scenarios that Bert and himself found themselves in. So it just didn't work for me. And similarly with the performances, I might get some flack here, but Mark Hamill really didn't fit in this film. I love Mark Hamill, for the record. I just don't think this character was made for him. He doesn't really do a ton with the character, and he's just not as funny as some of the other characters in this film. And he definitely delivers the weakest performance. Now, Irina, played by Eva Babkick. Eva Babkick does an amazing job in this film. She has a lot of physical work she has to do, and she also has to convey a character with a lot of depth, and I really think she did a fantastic job here. Brett Kessler playing himself, I mean, it's the easiest role any of us can get. He is playing himself, an exaggerated form of himself, no doubt, but I mean, how hard can it be to play yourself when in your own movie? It really shouldn't be that hard, but he does a great job, I guess, and I laughed at a lot of the jokes he told in the film. It just worked for me. Visually, I was surprised with the visuals in this film. I mean, we have a lot of stylized action. We get to see a lot of it. There's not a lot of bad cuts. The editing's pretty smooth. There's a couple stylized feels with some like animation towards the end. I really like the feel of this film visually, and I really do enjoy what the filmmakers were going for. The music, the composer was Joseph Trapancy. I apologize if I mispronounced that name, because I'm pretty sure I did. The score here is pretty good as well. I don't really think it did a ton for the movie, but it managed to combine the two tones of action and comedy quite well, if I do say so myself. Now, at the end of the day, enjoy this movie. I know it's not the most complicated story, and there are some issues with the dynamic between Bert and his father, and the father character isn't really fully fleshed out. But with all that said, I got a lot of chuckles, I had a lot of fun, and this film is just bonkers, and I love that. I love a film that knows it's bonkers and plays that it's bonkers. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give The Machine a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed this one, guys. I know I just nitpicked it a ton, but it was really a fun time, and that's what I want out of a film like this. I want to go in and get some chuckles, get impressed by some action, some blood. It's just some great film work here, and I do recommend you check it out, especially if you're looking for a film that's just an easy, good time that you can shut your brain off and enjoy. Because that, at the end of the day, is exactly what The Machine is. Anyway, that's what I felt about The Machine. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.